Hello and welcome to Plan Life Right. I'm your host, Kevin Ross, and I'm so excited to have you here for our very first episode. This podcast is about taking small, practical steps today to ensure more secure tomorrow. So, whether you're just starting to think about retirement or you're well on your way, my goal here today is to help you navigate that journey with real life examples, easy to follow strategies, and a touch of inspiration. So today we're going to dive into a topic that might surprise you, and it's how your daily Frappuccino Grande, maybe from Starbucks or maybe from your favorite coffee shop, but you got to have that Frappuccino Grande. And for those of you that are really into it, then in October you've got the pumpkin syrup that's added as well. And so we're going to talk about these things like the Frappuccino. I'm going to use that example, and I'll add it to the people like I have three boys. They're going to go, we don't do Frappuccinos, Dad. That's fine. They vape. So we're going to talk about what if they cut back on their vaping. Um, or for those that have a smoking habit, what if we cut back? Now, I'm not asking you to stop. This isn't a health show to talk about the pros and cons of that. That's someone else's podcast. What we're going to talk about is by making these small changes, what that can look like 20, 30, 40 years down the road. So today we're going to dive into this topic. Um, I'm really excited to go about it, go through it with you guys, and and look at what could be standing between you and your retirement dreams. So you're intrigued? Stick around, and we're going to break it all down. All right, let's talk about breaking down the math. So, a Frappuccino Grande costs between $7 and $8. You add a syrup, it's going to be an extra pump or whatever. That's going to give you a little bit more. So let's just use $8, um, and um, and what that looks like. So if you buy one Frappuccino Grande every day, 7 days a week, because hey, that's our jam. Um, that's $8 times 30 days in a month. So that's $240. And so over the course of the year, that's $2,880 um, that we are spending. And so also, don't forget, coffee prices tend to go up, they don't go down. So that number could even grow more. And, if everybody was watching about the Colombia tariffs and all the other tariffs that may or may not come, it's going to drive up the cost of coffee. Well, it could. That's another show that you can log on and see. But we're going to talk today about today's math. Um, so let's get into it. So imagine if you took that $2,880 um, a year and you invested it over 40 years. So $2,880 a year, and you invested that instead over 40 years with an average annual return of what the S&P's done over the last 40 years of around 12% with dividends. Um, that single year of savings could grow to nearly $120,000. So if you quit cold turkey, I'm just going to do it, and I'm only going to do it 1 year. Then I'm going to get another vice because I've quit this. Um, that $2,880 over a 40-year period grows to 120,000. But what if you did it every year? You're looking at millions by the time you retire. So if you're 25 today In 40 years, you're 65. I'm going to retire at 65. And who knows, it may be 70 or 75 because of the aging of America and with technology and everything, how much older we're going to live through. I mean, we're already experiencing it with the baby boomers, but it's only going to get longer and longer as technology and medicine continues to improve. So what I'm saying here today is we're not going to cut cold turkey. That's not realistic. But what if we just cut back 2 frappuccinos a week? So this isn't really about coffee per se, because we're going to go get into some of the other vices. It's about the habit. And so we get up every day. I got to go get my Frappuccino Grande, and you do it every day. But what if we cut back? What if we just said this small change? I'm going to cut back instead of going on the weekends as well. I've got to do my Monday through Friday because that's who I am. That's fine. What if we cut the, the Saturday and Sunday? Just sleep in, sleep through it. We're not going to spend those. If you cut back 2 a week, that's $16 a week that you saved. That's $832 a year. And you took that $832 and invested that annually over 40 years. So I'm a 25-year-old with the average return of 12% over the 40 years with dividends, the S&P. That small change could grow. Are you ready? Are you ready? $755,000. That's just by cutting back on two. Okay. Um, what if we said, you know what? Uh, I work from home 1 day a week, so I won't go get one that day either because the Starbucks, well, there's a Starbucks in every corner, but let's, for hypothetical sake, say it's right by my office, which is why I go get my Frappuccino every day. The 1 day a week, I don't have to get in my car and go. I'll just skip that one too. So if you skip that to 3 a week and you did that every day, that's $24 a week. That's $1,248 a year. You invest that amount annually over 40 years. Are you ready? You're looking at over $1.1 million. So these small changes truly do add up, and they add up in a massive way. But let's say, okay, I'm not a Frappuccino person. I don't do that, but you smoke. So what's a pack of cigarettes look like? So pack of cigarettes costs approximately $10, depending on where you live, maybe more in some places. The states tax that as well as the federal government. Um, but you smoke um, a pack a day, that's 7 packs a week. That's $70 weekly, 280 monthly, and an annual cost of $3,360. If you cut back the consumption by 2 packs, okay, so we got to really change some stuff. And I know that's really hard for those that are smokers. Um, but we cut back 2 packs a week. That saves you $20 a week. That's 1,040 annually. Um, and the investment there over 20 years, $90,000, 720. 30 years, $322,000 you would have saved. 40 years, are you ready? 40 years, 1,116,000. So just by making a small change as a smoker, you see, by making that small little change, and I know it's going to be tough, that's going to add up to some major money. Um, what about for our younger generation that's they already know that smoking's not bad for you, but vaping, no one knows. Well, let me tell you something. When I was younger, the Surgeon General said that tobacco was fine for you. And lo and behold, it's not. It causes cancer. Probably going to put my bet. I'm going to bet the house that we're going to find out vaping's not any good for you either, um, because we're putting chemicals in our lungs. Maybe it's not tar, but there's still stuff, and you're still addicted to that nicotine. So, what's vaping cost? I think a pod costs around $6, uh, and most users consume at least one pod daily, some more. That's weekly cost of $42, a monthly cost of $168, an annual cost of 2,000, a little over $2,000. So if we cut back here, same thing, just two pods per week. We save $12 weekly. At $624 a year we save, but we're taking that and putting that in the S&P 500. Okay, in 20 years, that that savings would have grown to 54,000 and change. 30 years, 193,000, and in 40 years, uh, $672,000. So the story here is get making some small changes in your life and how that can truly add up in massive ways. I mean, we could take it to another step. What about all of us that started doing Uber Eats and Grubhub? Because in 2020, we weren't allowed in some states to walk out our door without being shot. I'm kidding, but was very difficult, and there was no place to go get the food. You couldn't have any contact. So Uber Eats and Grubhub and some of the other they were shooting. They were making a ton of money, and a lot of people that became a habit. So instead of before COVID, we just got up and we went to the fast food store. We went or a restaurant or the whatever place and picked up our food. If we didn't feel like eating it in the restaurant, we take it home. If we did deliver back in the day, which was only a few years ago, uh, it was like Chinese or pizza were the two places that delivered food. That was about it. Um, so now, if you look at what it costs to do, if you're a person that doesn't know how to cook and every day you're eating out, and in top of that you are having and paying for the delivery service, the numbers would be even greater than that. So I don't think we need to beat a dead horse here. What I'm trying to tell you is look at what you're spending now, and what if I made a small change, not drop dead, stop it all. That's what's wrong with our all these diet systems. Oh, you do this, you're going to lose this. You do that, you're depriving yourself of something that you love, and that never works. And so you always hear, oh, a yo-yo diet. Well, that's because you're giving up something you truly love, as opposed to doing portion controls, or hey, I'm not going to have a bowl of ice cream every night because I'm just putting on more and more weight. I'll do, you know, a couple a week. So making a small change. So the key here is in these few simple steps I want to share with you are track your spending. Spend a week logging down your purchases, and you might be surprised at um, how you might be surprised to see where that money's going and how you can make maybe a small change or two, and identify those small habits that you maybe want to change. So maybe it's cutting back to 3 coffees a week instead of 7, or swapping out one takeout meal for a home cooked dinner. And then you redirect those savings. You set up an automatic transfer, because if it requires you, this is proven, if it requires you to manually do it, you end up not doing it. You take that money, you spend it somewhere else. But if you say, I'm cutting back 2 Frappuccinos a week, that's $16 a week. And every week or every month, I'm going to put in that savings into the S&P 5 automatic, pulls out of your account. You can have a real reward 20, 30, 40 years. And so that's the magic secret, to say, oh, I'm just going to write myself um, a check and put it in my account. Doesn't happen. It stops. It's too tedious. We're too busy. We are Now the um, age of everything is instant gratification, and we're too busy. We've got these phones that are talking to us nonstop, 24/7, or as much as we allow it. So do the automatic, then it's forgot about. It's kind of like a 401k plan. When you set that up, it's not like you're making a manual deposit. They're actually pulling that out. When you get paid, it's taking all the stuff, all the government requirements, your taxes, your FICA, all that stuff coming out, along with your 401k. You're paying yourself a little bit there. Do the same thing for this example when you decide, hey, this is a habit that I can make a couple of changes to. And then by all means, um, celebrate the progress. These small steps lead to big wins. So reward yourself for staying on track without undoing your hard work. So what I mean there, don't stop the automatic deposit. What if you're like, "Ugh, you know what? I just realized how many calories are in a Frappuccino Grande, and I'm a pre-diabetic. All of a sudden, it's 15 years later, and you made your two stop, but now maybe you just need to cut it all out. Well, then take that, put that in. That's just going to compound more. Albert Einstein called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. Every dollar saved and invested today has the potential to multiply over time. I mean, it's powerful and it's real. And when you're younger, it doesn't seem real. You've got everything else that you're trying to figure out. I mean, it's your first job. You're trying to figure out, well, I got rent now. I have to pay rent. I got pay my own food. You got all these things that you were used to your parents taking um, uh, a part of, or covering all or some or none, depending on your situation. But now you've got these real life problems, and if you do these small little changes here in the beginning when you're just starting out, that's going to mean um, huge, huge impact when you are older and you're getting ready to retire. What if you're 40? What if you're 40? But I do the Frappuccino thing, and I know I need to cut back a little bit. So if you're 40 and you're going to retire um, at 65, 70, you're going to have, on the Frappuccino example, uh, just cutting back by two, you're going to have about, at 25 years, you're going to have about $125,000 of money that you've saved if you stop today and you're 40 years old. So that it doesn't matter when, it matters taking that step now and doing it now. So um, I want everybody to remember the goal isn't about depriving yourself of this. It's about being intentional with your money so it can work for you. So let's recap here. Small daily expenses can add up to a significant amount of time over time. Um, Identify that one daily habit and make some adjustments, whether it's coffee, snacks, cigarettes, vapes, Zens. I think it's a new thing now, or it's new to me. I didn't know about it till my middle son said something about it a few weeks ago on the golf course. Again, another habit that he could break and save money. Um, and then calculate that weekly, monthly savings. Um, and then it, and then use an outline or an online compound interest calculator to see how those savings can grow over time. And you can Google and find it. There's a website, Dinky Town, that's got every type of calculator known to man that you can go on. It's free, and you can put in whatever. If you're looking to buy a house, it can tell you how to get that done. So there's ways to figure that out, but it's real important that you look at your spending habits and start small, stay consistent, and let time and do compound interest do that heavy lifting for you. Your retirement dreams are closer than you think. It's just a matter of making small changes today for a big payoff tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for our first episode on Plan Life Right. If you found today's discussion helpful, I'd love for you to subscribe and leave a review. And hey, share this podcast with your friend who could use some inspiration for the retirement planning journey. And I know if you're in your 20s, it's like that's so far away. My parents aren't even old enough to retire. I can't even think about it. I'm not telling you to think about retirement if you're in your 20s or even in your 30s. What I'm telling you, make that small little adjustment now and put it into a simple S&P 500 index account and watch it grow. It will be mind blowing. Trust me on that. Um, and then lastly, our next episode, we're going to talk about the power of starting early and why time is your biggest ally when it comes to savings for retirement. You don't want to miss it. Until then, remember, planning your life right today means planning your life right tomorrow. Take care, and I'll see you next time on Plan Life Right.